Welcome to another Gaslec podcast. I'm Sean and I'm hosting this podcast this week. So thank you very much for all the listeners, including our international listeners. When I look at the map and where all the listeners are coming from, it always takes me by surprise. All the people in America and in Asia and stuff that are listening to us. So it's fantastic. So thank you very much indeed for listening. And hopefully I'm giving you some value. So this week's episode, I got asked a question of what's the biggest lesson that I've learned as a plumber and that I carry on, I'd say every day really. So I'll get to answer that and some of the other couple of bits and pieces. But first of all, here's my friend Sean to tell you a little bit about the podcast and why we do it. Thank you for listening to another Gaslec podcast, the show to help DIYers, new people into the industry, and those who are wanting to expand their knowledge. Each week we'll pick a topic and go into details, and with special guests and listeners' questions answered, we will look forward to some of the conversations. So let's get back to the show. Right, so welcome back. Thank you very much indeed. So yeah, I've come back off my holiday, so a couple of weeks ago now, time this gets aired. So we've been doing some charity stuff. So we do a local picnic sponsorship. We do a couple of prizes that go into the auction. So I think we've already done a free boiler service, which was donated. So that got raffled off for the fundraising. We also was donated a Nest learning thermostat, which we absolutely love here at Gaslec, and far superior to the Hive. If you listen to any previous episodes about that as well, you know how much we think it's a far superior product. And our friends at Plum Centre over in Gillingham, formerly the old Wolseley, I'll Gav, the manager over there, I spoke to him and he donated one for free to us. So we're going to be installing that, I think, this week, which I think will be last week when you actually hear this back. So a lucky person was, I'm not quite sure what the value of that went for, but it's about 280 quid really, to be honest. Tony had it all up. So yeah, they've got themselves a good deal, and it's a nice bit of money going to the organisation for raising money for, which is great. We also did a little promotion in August for £10 every boiler service. Split between two charities. So we managed to do 20 boiler services in that promotion. So we had 200 quid. So I dropped off 100 quid to each of the charities as well. So that'll be a week and a bit ago, whatever it is. But yeah, I did that this week from my side. So yeah, so it's been nice getting those bits and pieces wrapped up as we're starting to come into the winter season. I'm still wearing a pair of shorts, and currently I'm actually wearing a vest. It's Sunday. So yeah, I've been working on one of my children's cars, which is great. You just think when you get a bit older, you buy reliable vehicles, then your kids go and buy sometimes unreliable vehicles. Then they look at you to help. So yeah, dressed accordingly, I think, today. So anyway, I'm back at the office here at Gaslec Towers. It's nice and quiet today, so I thought I'd get a couple of podcasts come out. So we're doing the charity stuff this week. We've been zipping up and down the country for our commercial work. So we work a lot in children's nurseries. So we've had quite a few call-outs when they start to turn the heating on, because it has taken a bit of a dip. Last night, being Saturday the 21st, last night we had a lot of thunderstorms early hours of this morning. So yeah, some heavy rains. So the old drain guys will be busy the next few days with surface water flooding, etc. When all the roads silt and twigs and all that get flushed down the manholes, it all starts backing up. It all needs unblocking. So yeah, so they'll be busy. So if you've got any drain blockages, see if they can wait till the following week, because yeah, this week they're going to be busy. So yeah, we've got those bits and pieces done there. So I got asked a question by a listener to answer on the podcast, which is, what's my biggest lesson that I've learned? And it took me by surprise, really. So I think of all the things I do and all the things that we get involved with, I think probably the biggest lesson to anybody coming into the industry, whether it be young or slightly older, or even other plumbers that are out there, even other plumbers, because I've been out to other jobs before, and people have gone down what I call rabbit holes and have gone down the wrong road. I think the biggest lesson is when you're turning up to a problem and a customer says it's this, that, and the next thing, or this has happened first, or what's gone on, I just put it as not as a pinch of salt, but I just take that as a reference. I don't take that as gospel. I just take that as okay, I'll take that point on board, and then I start doing the investigations myself. So there was a job in Hempstead. I'll keep it really quickly, this one. It turned out to be quite complicated in the end. But the customer had moved in only a few weeks prior. They were on holiday. We got a phone call from a family member that was looking after the house. Lovely property. And they had water come through the ceiling. So when we turned up, there was no water coming through the ceiling. So what that then does tell me is that either the central heating system has run out of water because it was a central heating water, or is it if it was cold water mains, it'll carry on running and running. It wasn't. Do we still have hot water as the tanks run out and stop filling up? No, they're still working. So it's not cold mains. Went upstairs, started flushing the toilets because it's just a leak that's happening when the bathroom was being used rather than just leaking all the time. And they said, we just had a new carpet fitted upstairs, which probably a fixing that's gone through a pipe in the under the floor, which is very, very common and very, very possible. But I was like, okay, yeah. And when water does drop onto a ceiling, it can run along it. It was coming out the spotlights in the kitchen. So it's not always the bang-on location of the leak is where it's physically coming from the ceiling. That's maybe just the lowest point with a hole in it, and it's dropping out. So they were saying several times about the new carpet being laid. And I went up and had a look at the shower, and it was this strange... it was like a wet room that was not made, like a custom made. So when you get wet rooms, you get like gullies, and so the water falls into the gully. It's all floor level, so it's all tiled in nice. And you normally get like these pre-made gullies that maybe fiberglass or plastic, or whatever they are, and they go underneath, and then the pipe comes off. This wasn't. This was made of wood, and it was then rubber coated, almost like a what do you call it? Like a tanking mix, like a rubber coating tanking mix. And then that went off to some sort of strange fitting to take to a waste pipe. And they had this custom grate by the previous people that was made and dropped in, which were lifted out. So it turned out that it was nothing to do with the new carpet, and it was to do with they had a shower and a massive, great big hairball had gone down the waste pipe, blocked it. That then backed up, filled up the gully, and the gully rubber tanking was failed. So then it started leaking out between the rubber tanking inside the gully, and then that's what was then causing the leak. Because when you put the water straight down the hole, it didn't really leak. So, and there was like a big rock of something as well, which I sucked out with a wet vac. So, of all the problems that it was. Actually, we ended up having to go down into the kitchen because they had a non-return valve because they didn't have a trap on the waste, which you're supposed to have a trap to be able to deal with the smells and stuff. There was no trap on it, so they fitted one and put it into the ceiling and covered it all over. So when there was a problem with the non-return valve, we then had to cut open the ceiling, and when you look carefully, you could see the ceiling had been patched up before the coving had been cut. So yeah, when you actually got up close, you could then see the patch marks where it's happened before. So yeah, my biggest lesson is take on board what customers say as what the problem could be, but always have your mind open to your own theories as well. And that saved me, that saved me hours and hours and hours. When you would just go, right, okay, if we would have done that job in Hempstead and we would have gone, right, okay, let's have a look at the floor, took the carpet up, then start taking all the floorboards up to see if there's any pipes there with holes in and stuff like that. We could have spent another 2 hours messing around and then realising it's not, putting it all back down, getting the carpet back down nice to then start carrying somewhere else. So yeah, just always take it on board, but don't take it as absolute black and white gospel. And when the customers often say, or the clients say, oh yeah, I've had another plumber around here before and they've done this, that and the next thing. Always be mindful of drain acids that have been put down block pipes. So if you get a block pipe, ask them if they've put anything down there other than soap and water. If they put any sort of drain acids and chemicals down there, if you start wet vacuuming or blowing or sucking and that stuff comes out and it spits you in the face, your hands are bad enough, but if it hits you in the face and the eyes, that could be a massive game changer for the rest of your life. So always ask that imperative question. What else has other people done? But once again, just take it on board as a theory of where to go with the for the investigation of the job. So that's hopefully that that listener's question answered there about my biggest lesson really, and it's something I do that every single day without realising it. Well, because I was thinking about it, I thought, what's the biggest thing I've done? Biggest lesson that I've sort of learnt really, and I'd say that. Yeah, just having your own conviction of actually, I've got a really good hunch. This is what the problem is, and we know it's not this, and this. It's going to be on the for that job there. It's going to be on the waste side, not on the water side, like the fresh side. So we're now looking at a waste pipe problem. It's not coming from the basin. It's not coming from the bath. It's not coming from the toilet. And then run the shower and hey presto, it starts filling up and then leaking. Then I had a really good look around the gully and there it was. So, and sort of just drew the conclusions out from there. So yeah, always listen. Remember that ratio. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth and always use them in that ratio. And that's coming from me as a bit of a chatterbox as well. So fantastic. Okay, well, hopefully that's answered the question. And thank you very much indeed for listening. So if you have any questions, give us a email at podcast@gaslec.net. Have a fantastic week, guys, and hopefully this is a bit of a help to you. You take care. Thank you very much. Goodbye.